Hello, I'm Adam Barralet and welcome to this Crystal Connections video where we're exploring the crystal of Cuprite. Now, Cuprite gets its name from the Latin word cuprum, which means copper. Cuprite is actually a member of a family of copper-based crystals that also includes stones such as Malachite, Turquoise, Chrysocolla, and Shattuckite. Now, you may notice with many of those crystals that I just mentioned, they're all either green or blue, and copper actually is responsible for that color. And when we think about the energy of these, those crystals are very much emotional healing and very nurturing in one way or another. What makes Cuprite really exciting is it's another copper mineral, but it brings in a different aspect of that loving energy. It brings in strength, confidence, and courage to confront whatever is happening in our life. So in this video, we're going to dive into a crystal that I'm surprised I actually haven't done this video until now. It's one that I really adore and think is a valuable tool in each and every one of our crystal collections whenever you're using it for personal crystal healing or for supporting others as well. So let's dive in and explore Cuprite. As I alluded to in the introduction, Cuprite really brings in a more yang or masculine energy as opposed to things like Chrysocolla and Malachite that bring in that more yin energy. Cuprite is a great one for helping us to heal our relationship with the masculine, both within us and also in our lives as well. Now, sometimes we think of the masculine as being this bossy, aggressive, stiff upper lip and showing no emotions. But often that is a bad flow of the divine masculine. The divine masculine actually has the courage to show all and even show its vulnerability. You know, when we think of these men of the past that kind of, don't show any emotion, it takes more guts to actually express and confront those emotions rather than repress and hide them. So what Cuprite is really great for is it's really great for helping to heal any relationship that you have with your own masculinity. So your own masculinity, regardless of what gender you identify as, we each have a feminine and masculine side. The masculine side is that side that actually allows us to be objective, structured, to have plans and want to progress and grow and evolve in our lives. The feminine side comes in and makes sure that we are doing what we love, what feels right, what nurtures us and cares for those goals as well. So we actually need to have both in balance. Otherwise, if you've just got the feminine, you've got all these ideas and dreams and things you care about, but nothing is actually getting done. So if you need to kind of work on that aspect of your life and manifesting, then Cuprite can be really great for that. Working with it and meditating with it can be one great way. Or you may want to look at your relationships with other men in your life. Sometimes, if we've had bad experiences, possibly with our father or grandfather or another male figure, we may have swung the pendulum the other way. Maybe, for example, you had a really aggressive or, uncaring man in your life. And so you've decided, I don't ever want to be like that. So you don't stand up for yourself and you show too much love to overcompensate. Cuprite helps us bring it back into harmony, back into balance, where we can come back to that healthy masculine. This can actually help us to find resolution within ourselves and in our lives with men such as our father or our grandfather. This is also a really empowering stone for helping to equal out imbalances of the sexes in the workplace. And if that's a problem, then gritting this or wearing this can be really great. In fact, even if you find that you're discriminated against because your accent or who you are or your gender, this is a really great stone to empower you to stand up for yourself and make sure that you don't get subjected to that mistreatment. This is also empowering for men in our lives. So for example, single fathers, that can bring a whole range of different challenges. And if you are a father that's raising children, then Cuprite is a really great one for helping you to feel empowered and confident in your ability to do that. Now, another challenge that can come as we have these ongoing blended families in our lives is, stepfathers coming in with stepchildren. These children may behave differently to what they're used to and when they were growing up, and that can cause conflict. And again, Cuprite, either given to that stepfather or gridded around the home, can help these blended families to get along really, really well. So whenever you want to bring harmony into that masculine side and bring that healing and that empowerment of that masculine side, either within or around you in your life, definitely reach for Cuprite. Before I go on to talk about different aspects of Cuprite, I want to talk to you about one form of Cuprite that you'll find, which is really, really beautiful. It's called Sonora Sunrise. So here we have the orange Cuprite here, and this light blue is Chrysocolla. Now before we were talking about Chrysocolla having a very feminine energy and this having the masculine energy. So this is a really great one for balancing the two, that kind of yin and yang. And so working with that can be a really beautiful way for bringing harmony between the sexes or between your yin and yang side within yourself as well. Now, when it comes to Sonora sunrise, also lean into the aspect that when we have different retrogrades such as Haumea retrograde. Now, Haumea is a dwarf planet and is considered to be a higher octave of Venus and Neptune, and helps us to kind of fall back in love with our ability and our faith and our strength to keep on going forward in life. Now, we need to have that resilience and we need to have both the masculine and feminine side. And when Haumea goes into retrograde, often what can come up is imbalances between those two sides. Haumea, named after the Hawaiian fertility goddess who kept on rebirthing herself and recreating herself with that link to that volcanic energy, really shows us that we need to keep on evolving and having that creation within us of that masculine and feminine in order to thrive. If we're not growing, then we're decaying and we're going backwards in life. And often issues where we have an imbalance, maybe we're discriminating against parts of ourselves or parts of other people, can come up around Haumea retrograde. And Sonora sunrise can be a really great one for helping us navigate and learn the lessons at these times as well. Now, if you want to be a bit more altruistic and a bit more caring and feel empowered to be caring, either combining Cuprite, good old Cuprite, or the Sonora sunrise with Celestite does help to promote altruism or kindness just for the hell of making the world a better place as well. So that can be a really nice pairing to bring in. But Sonora sunrise is a beautiful one for bringing that harmony into your life, balancing that feminine and masculine, whether it be during a Haumea retrograde or whenever you feel the need. You're going to find Cuprite is such an empowering stone, and it's a really great one for helping to give you the courage and the confidence to do what needs to be done for you to prosper in life. It's also a really great one for helping us to kind of let go of the worry or the stress of things that we can't control. In life, there are things that we have control over and there are things that we do not. And a lot of the time we spend a lot of mental energy or emotional energy worrying about things where we have no ability to affect the outcome. But we can affect how we react to that. And Cuprite helps you to feel really confident and brave that you know to be able to handle and tackle whatever life throws at you and to navigate your way through your journey in life. This can be a really great one as well for those that tend to be a bit of a workaholic. Sometimes we feel that we never have enough money and we can never do enough work and we just work, and we push ourselves. And maybe you can achieve great success, but if you get to the top of the mountain and you have no friends or family or people to celebrate that with, then have you really truly gained success? This is a great crystal for helping you to ground you and realize what's truly important and focus your energy on that. Focus on what you can control and what is truly important. Now, if you do find yourself feeling a bit out of control, overwhelmed by the emotions, remember that still the base of this crystal and the coloring of this crystal is that copper, which is the metal of love. Try meditating, putting some Cuprite on your heart, and think about how you're feeling right now, especially if there's anger or the sadness or that type of thing. Think about the situation or the person that is actually bringing that unbalance or that kind of dragging or draining emotion to you. Can you start to fill your heart slowly with compassion? Understand why someone is being the way they are. Understand why a situation has come this way. And if you can start to feel love around that and let those kind of negative emotions around go, you can feel back in control of your own emotions, back in control of your own life. And remember that basically how we react to situations is always up to ourselves. So Cuprite helps us to change our mind, which will change our approach to life and our ability to navigate life as well. As you start to feel more in control of life, your life can actually become more abundant and more fulfilling as you have greater gratitude. Now, if you'd also like to promote ongoing abundance coming into your life, because remember that yang aspect is very much about bringing and creating and expansion, try getting 4 little bits of Cuprite and placing them in 4 little plants, little pot plants like this would do, and place them in the 4 corners of your home. That will surround your home in that courageous, that progressive, that driven energy to help you get out there and do what you need to do to bring the goodness into your life. Now, when we think of confidence and courage and abundance and safety, these are all very much things of the base chakra. And this is a great empowering base chakra crystal, especially when you have an underactive base chakra. Now, how do you know if you have an underactive base chakra? Well, check out my other video on how to test your chakras, especially the base chakra. But what tends to happen when you've got an underactive base chakra is you feel unsafe, you feel insecure, you don't feel like you can kind of fulfill your basic needs of, can you feed yourself, pay your bills, pay your rent or your mortgage and that type of thing as well. And you're also not very good at dealing with change. Maybe at work you've always gone to lunch at 12 and they go, we're changing up the lunch hours and you might have to go at 1 o'clock sometimes. You're like, oh, I can't, I've always got at 12. If little things like that make you feel uncertain, then Cuprite can really help you again to remember what we can control, remember what we can't, change our approach to the things we can't control so that we can at least control our reaction, and no matter what happens, we feel grounded, safe, and secure. So if you need to work on your base chakra and really need to feel more empowered so you feel more safe and able to adapt to the ever-changing world, Cuprite is going to be an absolute gem for you. We've talked a lot about that masculine energy and we've talked a lot about that control as well. And one thing that can be rather frightful, especially for men and women as well as they get older, is this idea of not being able to be as strong as they once were, as capable as they once are, and maybe admitting to the fact that they need help. Maybe even that someone is starting to feel, rather fearful of death and the end of their life. Again, Cuprite helps us to not feel that fear, to realize what we can control and what we can't control, and to feel confident to keep on progressing and doing what we can do. So if you or someone you're wanting to support in your life is starting to feel or have challenges about giving up and asking for help as they get older and maybe losing some of their capabilities, or if you find, or someone else has this great fear of death and that really kind of plays on their mind, then Cuprite is going to be a really great stone to keep near them. Like most other crystals, it's going to be really great to cleanse a new piece of Cuprite or one that you've been using a lot, especially if you're dealing with that toxic masculine energy. You're going to want to cleanse it very often. Now, we can either cleanse this by placing it out under the early morning or late day sun, bringing in that yang energy, or you may want to just pass it through a candle flame or place it about 1 meter away from an open fire and bring that fiery kind of energy in, depending on which one works best for you at the time. Now you can also bring in other gifts of nature. So there's a couple of essential oils that I love to work with Cuprite. If we're looking at healing the divine masculine, I love using frankincense essential oil. Now guess how we get frankincense essential oil from the frankincense tree? The tree actually allows us to make incisions in it, and then the resin actually comes to the surface. So what happens is the frankincense shows us that we get the best out of this tree when the tree allows itself to be vulnerable. Remember what I was talking about that masculine before? It's not someone who keeps their emotions hidden, but those that are brave enough to actually express how they feel. That is the true warrior. That is the true masculine. So frankincense can help with the healing of any masculine within or with other people in our lives. If we're looking for that empowerment and feeling in control of our lives, this stone has a really close connection to the energy of the planet Mars. Now, any plant that has a red flower also has a strong connection to Mars. So we could look at hibiscus, but I really want you to look at ginger. Ginger has red flowers, and although we don't get the oil from the flower, we get it from the root. This is an oil of empowerment. So if you're looking for that empowering energy, really lean into ginger essential oil. If it's a divine masculine, lean into the frankincense. Now you can also look at the wisdom and the guidance of animals. And for Cuprite, I'm really reminded of the ram. Now the ram, of course, is linked to Aries, the star sign that is actually ruled by Mars, so it all ties in together. But rams are this, this symbol of fertility, of vitality, of virility, of determination and not backing down. And that's exactly what Cuprite brings into our life. So you can kind of smell your ginger or your frankincense essential oil and hold this while you're in meditation and visualize a big ram in front of you. That ram could speak to you. What bit of advice would it give you right now? That will be different for all of us, but it could be quite helpful and guide you on your way. So as I mentioned before, this very much ties in with Mars. Now Mars rules the day of Tuesday. So doing any major working, any healing or empowerment work on a Tuesday is going to bring in a bit more energy to help enhance whatever you're doing with your Cuprite. Now, cuprite is a rarer crystal, but I think it's an absolute really valuable one to have, especially to balance out some of your other stones, such as your chrysocollas, your malachites, your turquoises, and your shattuckites, which all have that more feminine copper-loving side. This is not one of severity or harshness, it's of masculine warrior love, would probably be some of the words I'd use to describe that. Now, I'd love to know, have you got cuprite in your collection? What do you use it for? What have you noticed? How has it brought some benefits to your life? Please share with our nature-loving community and leave a comment in the section below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Adam Barralet. Blessed be.